So in a second, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go through the configurations. For this demo, I'm using a category 18 HD4MBX, and I've got 2 active SIM cards in it. I've also got my home internet, which is connected via Ethernet WAN. The first thing we're going to go through is the basic configuration of the device, and then we'll cover the VLAN and SSID settings, outbound policy and firewall rules, as well as applying a speed limit to user groups. We'll also briefly look at the AP controller. Okay, so you now should be able to see my screen and the interface of the HD4MBX. Can you confirm that you can see the HD4MBX interface there? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is the dashboard on the HD4MBX. So this tells you which WANs you have. So currently I have got the Ethernet WAN here. So WAN 1, that's my network cable, which goes to my home internet. And then I've got 2 SIM cards active. If we click on the cellular details, we get a lot more information about a particular cellular WAN. So you can see what bands have been used, so what frequency, the signal strengths, all that kind of information. Further down, you can specify things like data roaming, LTE only. You can also click on these question marks, and quite often the question marks have got some hidden settings there. So for example, this one here, we can click here and you can manually select carrier. I'm not going to do that now because I'll disconnect that cellular WAN. It also does things like the cellular frequency. So if you know a cellular frequency doesn't perform very well in a particular area, you can disable that frequency and that cellular modem won't connect to it. Another feature here that a lot of people don't realize is this little question mark here on the right hand side. This one can be used to reset a modem. So if the network operator says to you that you need to reboot your router, you don't actually have to reboot the whole router. You can just reboot that individual modem. So if you click on that and then click here, and then you confirm that and click yes, that will reboot that modem. And you don't need to click save and apply at the bottom for that particular command. You can just cancel out of that window. And then you'll see that here the modem will go through resetting, and it will reset it's just that individual modem. Okay, so I'm using our latest firmware, which is 8.1.0. It is going to be generally available very soon. If you follow the forum, you'll have the info about that there. Okay, so the first thing we are going to configure is a VLAN. So if we go to network now, we will see that there's just the physical untagged LAN. That's by default there. The default one is 192.168.50.1. So you can change that to whatever suits your network design. I'm just going to leave it as a default one for this demo. So what I'm going to do now is create a second and third network, which will be the VLANs. So the IP address I'm going to use here is 192.168.51.1. So I'm just going one oclet up on the second to last oclet. This network I am going to call crew. And I'm going to give it the VLAN ID of 51. I'm just matching it to be the same as the second to last oclet of the IP address. So the name of the VLAN can be whatever you want. I'm just going to call it crew. So for the VLAN ID, you can use your own convention, but as I said, I like to use my the second to last octet of the VLAN IP address. So the VLAN IDs need to be added to any network switches between the router and end devices. If you're using OSD switches, this can be easily applied to multiple switches from in control. So inter-VLAN routing enables devices on different subnets to be able to access each other. If you need your network to be more secure, you can disable this, and it stops devices on different VLANs from being able to access each other. So if the DHCP server is enabled, you need to enter some settings in there. So we're going to create a range there from .10 to .100. For the DNS servers, I like to disable the auto assign DNS server setting and manually add DNS servers. So for this example, I'm going to use 1.1.1 and 1.1.0.0. So that just means that clients that are connected to your Wi-Fi will get the same DNS servers assigned to them when they connect to the network. So now we're going to save that network. I'm just going to create a second one now, which will be 52, and we'll call this one guest. So give that a similar DHCP range, and also disable the DNS there as well, the auto DNS function. Okay, so I'm going to save that now. So we've now got the two VLANs and the physical LAN there. So now what I'm going to do is apply these changes. So those changes have been applied. So we now have three LANs on this router, one physical untagged LAN and then the two VLANs.